Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day to everyone who is watching this video. Today I am going to do a video about differentiation of 6 cameras that I have learned. Firstly, my name is Nurul Alia Eryana Binti Muhammad Zamri, and you can call me Alia. I am 21 years old and lives in Port Klang, Selangor. So currently I'm in my 3rd year doing my degree in computer network security in UniSZA. So for the first week lecture, my lecturer has teach us about photography technique and technology. He has explained to us about what is photography, what is digital camera, and what is film camera and their specifications. And he asked us to do a video about differentiation of digital cameras. So what does it mean by digital cameras? It means that they don't using film. There are 6 digital cameras that I am going to cover it. The first one is point and shoot camera. The second one is digital medium format camera, and next digital range finder camera. The fourth one is digital single lens or DSLR. The fifth one is mirrorless camera, and lastly is telephone camera that we all have. Okay, for the first camera, which is point and shoot camera. Point and shoot cameras, also commonly referred to as compact cameras, are generally smaller, more lightweight, and typically more affordable than DSLR counterparts. So there are advantages for this camera, which is compact size, low weight, and automatic functions. So this camera has sensor which is 1.5 to 2.3 inches. The resolution is 1280 times 720, and then they have focus-free lenses with fixed aperture, and the video is not fully HD. ISO is from ISO 100 to ISO 1600, and lastly, most this point and shoot camera have a wheel or lever for advancing the film and cocking the shutter. So I am going to show you guys the camera. Okay, for the second camera, which is digital medium format camera. Okay, this camera is any camera format that makes use of the 120 film size or utilize a digital imaging sensor that mimics the size. The advantages are heavy and bulky body. It means it's big. And then they have higher quality images, wider field of view. Okay, so the sensor size typically range from around 43.8 times 32.9 mm to 53.7 times 40.2 mm. And then the images of much higher resolution can be produced due to larger size of sensor. So this type of camera usually they have large sensor that can make higher resolution of pictures. And then the ISO 100 to 50,000, and then Maestro 2 image processor, able to use different frame sizes and aspect ratios for more versatility in their images. And lastly, traditionally bigger and heavier than most cameras due to their large sensors. So these are type of digital medium format camera. For the third camera, which is digital rangefinder camera. So this camera were the most popular small cameras of the 1950s. So Leica cameras are the only popular ones still available new today. So Leica was always and still is a very expensive and a very good camera. So the advantages are have great depth of field, small size and lightweight, and then the shutters are almost silent on most models. Digital rangefinder camera focus using a dual image range finding device and never look through the lens. And then They have far more precise focusing for wide and normal lens, goes to an expanded values of ISO 50,000 and the max resolution can goes to 5952 times 3992, and the sensor size can be full frame, which is 35.8 times 23.9 millimeter. The sensor type is CMOS. And lastly, there is no flipping mirror, so there is much less vibration to blur handheld images. So these are the example of digital rangefinder camera. Okay, so for the next camera, which is digital single lens reflex, or you may know it as DSLR. So these are the most popular cameras within professional photographers. So DSLR is an acronym for digital single lens reflex camera. The DSLR combines optics and mechanisms of SLR film camera with a digital image sensor. It's very customizable and holds a lot of coveted features. So for the advantages, the image quality, you all know how DSLR image quality is very good. And then the optical viewfinder is very big and wide, and then they better in low light quality, so they can take pictures in dark too. So the reflex means that there is a reflex mirror that bounces light up from the lens onto a flat ground glass screen, and then the lens aperture instant return electronically controlled, so they can control the aperture, and then have at least ISO 100 to 6500, around 10 to 50 megapixels. So and then many DSLRs can now capture high quality video such as HD and sometimes 4K. Shutter speed is 1/4000 to 30 seconds in steps of 1/3 EV. And then they have 23.2 times 15.4 millimeter CMOS sensor. So these are the DSLR. Next is mirrorless camera, which is I also first time hearing it. Mirrorless means there is no mirror. So mirrorless cameras are interchangeable lens cameras that don't have the mirror and optical viewfinder that define a DSLR. So the advantages are there isn't a mirror blocking the sensor, and then most of the lens designs are relatively new and are well optimized for use on the latest high resolution models, and that's generally smaller than DSLR. So it is one of the choices for professional photographers. So when it is mirrorless, the mirror is not blocking the sensor, so that's why the image sensor is exposed to light at all times. Next, ISO auto 100 to 6400, and then the image sensor is 22.3 times 14.9 millimeter CMOS. The shutter speed can be 30 to 1/4000 seconds. Okay, next, with superior autofocus in more models, mirrorless cameras provide the best result for most filmmakers. The image processor with type DIGIC8, and then they can shoot continuously at 10 frames per second. So these are the mirrorless camera. Okay, for the last but not least camera that I'm going to cover today is telephone camera or smartphone camera. So all smartphones have a camera like I am using it right now. So this makes it easy for us to take photographs and capture memories irrespective of where you are. So the advantages are smartphone cameras are small and light, that we can keep smartphone in our pocket. and then ability to share on social media right away. And lastly is convenience. So telephone camera can have up to 12 MP resolution. And next, today, no smartphone camera has had a camera sensor bigger than 1 inch. Next is, it is believed that more lens elements mean better quality picture. And then some phones have 4K, Full HD or HD for video resolution. That's quite good. Some phones have a fixed aperture of f over 2.0, others f over 1.7, or even as low as f over 1.4. And then a mobile camera sensor with a pixel size of 2.4 is much superior. So these are the example of telephone camera. So that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoy watching this video. I hope I give a good explanation about these types of camera, and I hope you do a good choice in choosing your own camera. So that's all from me. Thank you.